folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Are you ready for your mission to begin? It's still in the morning. I just woke up a couple hours ago. Sun's just getting ready to peek up over the horizon, and well, it's the morning after the election. So of course, one of the first things I did when I woke up, because I wasn't one of those that stayed up all night trying to see who won, because I kind of figured it was going to happen the way it actually did happen. And I checked this morning, and you know what? Not much has changed. We still do not know a clear winner. But I think we know enough for our mission to begin. Now, I know that there's some of you listeners that aren't voters, that you believe, and I agree with you. You're right, that the left-right paradigm is a fraud. It's a way to manipulate and divide us, so I get that. But I do believe that this election, there was something else at stake, and we want to get into that here in just a minute. Before we get started, I want to thank you all for stopping by to watch. If you don't mind, go ahead and click that subscribe button down below, and maybe give the video a like. So, what do I mean by your mission has begun? What do I mean by there was something else at stake during this election? So by going from the comments that I get every day on this channel, some of my listeners are Trump supporters. Some of my listeners voted for him because they felt that he was the best of the two. And then there's some of you that absolutely wouldn't vote for anyone because you don't vote, because you realize that it's a complete fraud and a sham, and in the end that whoever wins, they're controlled by the banksters and the elites and all that. And all of that is fine on this channel. But I think that there was something else at stake this time. And I understand you can make the argument that this has been at stake for the last several elections, but I think it was much more so true this time around. And that was, it was going to be really the left versus right. The socialist, Marxist, communist, New World Order takeover versus liberty, freedom, and individuality. That was really what was at stake here. Now, if you just look at the numbers, according to when I woke up this morning, at a little after 5:30, somewhere in that time, Trump is, well, I take that back. Biden is showing in the lead with the electoral votes. But if you look at all the states that haven't called yet, Trump is leading in almost every one of those. And if it was a normal election, I believe that they would have already called it for Trump. But that's not the case. So what's going to happen? Well, Trump has already said that he would take it to the Supreme Court. And most likely that's what we're going to see. We're going to see this play out over the coming days and maybe even weeks in the Supreme Court, or in other ways, before we know a clear winner. And what's going to happen, I think Trump will probably come out the winner, but just barely. And the left is going to accuse him of stealing it. And so, regardless of that the fact that he may be the winner, they're going to take it as a complete loss, because they believe that he stole the election, that they were the rightful winners of this election. And there's the potential there for even more violence over the coming weeks. Even though we didn't see a whole lot last night, I mean, there was some in, looks like, Portland and Washington, D.C., but, they've been doing that for weeks now. So, but getting back to the point, what our mission and what we've learned and what was at stake. What was at stake, I believe, was really the moral fabric of what we are as a people. Because if Biden had won handedly, overwhelmingly, if there had been a blue wave, the left would have taken it as that was a sign for them to completely push forward on their mission. that it was the will of the American people for this socialist, Marxist, radical left ideology. And I believe that's what's at stake here. Because it looks like right now, which that could change, that Trump will win by the skin of his teeth, they're still going to take it as it's their win. And they are going to believe that their viewpoint, that their ideology is the right one. And I think that what we have seen over the past months and even the last few years of this much stronger, much more fervent push for the far left ideology, we're going to see it now more than ever. Whether he wins or whether Biden wins, at this point, it doesn't matter. At this point, the left believes, I think that the left now believes that they have been given the torch by the American people, that their ideology, that their leftist, socialist, Marxist views are the right ones. And so what that does is that changes everything. You know, if there had been this massive red wave like they've spoke of and Trump had spoke of, that the silent majority stood their ground and came out in droves and overwhelmingly squashed out the left, maybe that would have been different. But that didn't happen. And so from here on out, even if Trump wins, of course they're going to reject him as the presidency, even more so than they have in the last 4 years. And the globalist, the New World Order leaders, the far left, socialist, communist, Marxist groups here in America and leaders, they are going to take it as a sign that they need to push harder than ever. And so over the months and the years ahead of us, I think that in a lot of ways, what is going to happen is going to be a lot worse for us. This Great Reset, this New World Order, this push to the far hard left of socialists and Marxism, we're going to see that. We're going to see that more than ever. And so your mission is to basically gear up and become a battle-hardened soldier, so to speak. Maybe not in the literal sense. Who knows? That may eventually happen someday. But for right now, you have to be ready, because the fight, I believe, for the moral fabric of freedom, of liberty, of all things good and right, is going to be worse than we probably have ever imagined to see. They are going to push their communist revolution so hard because they believe that that's what was chosen last night on the election night. Whether they win or not, they believe, I think from just the things that I've been seeing and reading, I think that they believe that there was enough turnout for them, even though it wasn't this huge, overwhelming, Democrat vote, that there was enough to stand up against Trump and the conservatives and the right, that they have been, given this torch to carry now, it's been passed on to them, and that Trump has just stolen it. And so they're going to continue on their mission, and it's going to be worse than ever. So folks, when I say your mission has begun, what I mean is that in every possible way, you've got to start getting ready, because I think the fight is only going to get worse, metaphorically speaking, ideologically, and physically. You preppers out there, you need to continue getting prepped, The world didn't end last night during the election. So what that means is the silver lining in that cloud is that you probably have some time left. If you haven't gotten everything that you need, if you're still working on getting things, you probably got some time. So keep at it. What that means for our minds, for our hearts, is you've got to get ready for this battle. And we've been in a battle for a while, the battle of the hearts and minds of this nation and us as a people. But I firmly believe, from what we have seen so far over the last 24 hours and really over the last few weeks, that they are ready to fully engage in this battle, this revolution of the left. And so you need to be prayed up. You need to be studied up, get your mind ready. I think those of you that, and many of you, because you comment all the time, and I do it, it happens to me all the time too. Dealing with family and friends that support the left, it's going to get worse for you. Co-workers, neighbors, the divide in this nation after last night, I believe, is going to widen greatly. And at what point does it become more physical over time? I mean, there was violence last night. There's been violence leading up for weeks, and I think that more and more it's going to happen. Now, remains to be seen how Trump, now that the election's over, what will he do to try to quell the violence? And but I think the thing is no matter what he does, every action now that he takes to try to stop it is only going to invigorate them more. And so this battle that that many of us feel that we have been in for such a long time, growing battle, this growing civil war in this nation, I believe last night was probably a tipping point. Not because it was so important whether Trump won or whether Biden won, but because just the amount of voter turnout and how that there were so many that still supported the left, regardless of what's happened. Places like Minnesota that have, endured a lot of violence this summer, and they still voted for the masters that brought it to them. So we're seeing that there are enough people in this country, at least according to the voter turnout, about a 50-50 split, that are supportive of this far left Marxist ideology. And I think what that's going to do is just fan the flames of this divide, this civil war, this battle that we are engaged in when it comes to the right versus wrong and freedom versus tyranny. So folks, in a physical way, get your preps ready, keep training. Those of you that are wanting to move out of the cities and into the countryside, you probably still have a little bit of time left. Maybe you bought a little time last night. You still need to get your preps going. Well, you may have a little bit more time for that because the world didn't just end. But you need to be ready. You need to be ready to face your friends and your families and your coworkers and your neighbors, because those that are on the left, they're going to be mad, and they're going to view that this was their win, and that based on the numbers that they should have won and that it was stolen from them. And I don't think they're going to back down anytime too soon. I don't think we're going to see a major shift from left to right in this country anytime too soon. We're going to see the left more fired up than ever, is what I believe. And this constant push to this communist ideology, we're going to see that happen, I think, pretty strong. So folks, that is your mission. Your mission is to get ready. Your mission is to gear up, not just in a physical sense. I'm talking gearing up here and gearing up in here, because the days of America just being a nation of freedom and there being a heated election and then we move on to being a good old, apple pie and pickup truck nation, I think that day is coming past. and we are now in a fight for the heart and soul of what this nation has always believed it to be, and really around the world. This globalist movement, it's big and it's growing in power, and they believe that 2020 is their year. I've done videos on it over on my Patreon page. I've been putting out, I think, quite a bit of good content over there, so go over there and check it out. I've got links in the description below. It's only $1 a month to get in the door, but you know, if you start looking at things of why 2020 and why are they pushing this, you know, Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, all these things, you know, there's a lot of things happening in 2020 that most people don't even realize. We're switching ages, the age of Pisces to age of Aquarius. And I know a lot of you probably think, I don't believe any of that stuff, neither do I, but they do. And it's significant because they believe in it. And they believe that now they have been, the torch has been passed to their beliefs, and it's now their time has come. And that's why it's this massive push all over the world. And America may be the last bastion of freedom that's trying to hold its ground, but we're definitely losing ground. And so, folks, this ideological civil war has been going on for a while. The physical civil war has really been starting in a lot of areas in the country, but I think that we're going to see things over the coming weeks, months, and years that most of us never thought we would ever see in this nation. So get prepared, folks. Your mission is to get prepared, because I think after the election last night, the left feels that their time has come, and we're going to see probably a lot of things happening that we just wish we didn't. All right, folks, like I said, go down and check the links in the description below. You can find some stuff down there, especially the Patreon page, where I've been talking about this stuff more. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.